Congressman, I'd just like to thank the 4,500 constituents that are on the phone right now. And I'd like to get back to our second poll question. If you have health insurance, are you afraid of losing it? 44% of the folks on today's call said yes. Once again, if you do have a question for the Congressman, please press *3, and hopefully your question will get through. And
Erin,
my name is, yep.
Can I make one more point? And again, I think it sort of goes to the poll number that you just took. You know, I hear a lot of people in our district talk about the Medicare Advantage that they have and that they're happy with. You know, clearly that's something that's important to us. Again, if you have a plan that you're happy with and it works for you, we need to make sure that you could continue to use that plan. But what we do want to make sure is that it continues to be, you know, cost efficient for you to continue using, and the costs don't go through the roof.
Thank you, Congressman. And once again, if you're just joining us, this is Erin Mitchell, Associate State Director for AARP New York, on the phone with Congressman Michael Arcuri talking about health care reform. Congressman, we do have another question for you. Question is, biologic drugs are used to treat serious illnesses like cancer and rheumatoid arthritis and can cost $10,000 or more per month. Right now, there is no FDA approval process for generic versions of biologic drugs. Congressman, we thank you for co-sponsoring legislation for generic versions of biologic drugs. What can we do to make sure that this is included in the final health care reform package?
Well, you know, first off, Erin, you know, having this teletown hall meeting, 4,500 of my constituents on the phone certainly is a good start to that. And obviously, I hope that these kind of things are going on all over the country, because they're great ways for us as your representatives to hear the things that while we think we know what are important to you, but to hear them specifically. But with that particular question, you already have my support, because we've got such a great active group of AARP members in upstate New York who got me on board of this particular piece of legislation by telling me why this bill is so important and basically lobbying me with the need for me to co-sponsor the bill. But it's equally important that we convince other congressmen and senators that this approach to generic biologic drugs is the right one. And you know, you're sort of preaching to the choir here. I'm on board. We need to make sure that we get the other representatives on board as well. So one of the best things I think you can do is to spread the word. Tell your friends and your family in other areas of the state and other areas of the country that they should contact their representatives or their senators about co-sponsoring the bill and promoting our bill in the House of Representatives is 1427, promoting innovation and access to life-saving medicine act. So, you know, I think this is a good sort of task for the members of the AARP to start to work on.
Thank you, Congressman. And for those of you just joining us, thank you very much. AARP thanks you for joining us. We have 5,300 of Mr. Arcuri's constituents on the phone with us this morning to talk about health care reform. Please hit *3 if you'd like to ask the Congressman a question. Right now, Congressman, we're going to take a question from a listener, Catherine from Cortland. Catherine, are you on the phone?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Catherine. How are you?
Very good.
Thank you for calling in.
Yes, I have a question and a concern. As I indicated, as a senior, I'm also concerned about the economy and jobs. And I have a real fear that universal health care, that we're kind of jumping into the fire without dealing with some of the issues such as the waste, the fraud, the abuse, and Medicare and Medicaid, and that, you know, the government track record for government programs has not been really great. And I have a real concern that as a senior, I will lose coverage that I'm very happy with. And I'm not so sure that the guarantee is there.
Well, thank you, Catherine, very much for your question. Congressman, do you have any words for Catherine?
Sure, and I think, Catherine, I want to thank you for that question, and I think they're the very concerns that people voice to me, you know, uniformly, not only throughout the district, but, you know, when I talk to people from other parts of the country, and I think your concerns are very fair. Let me say this, you know, let's not forget that here in the United States we pay the highest amount for our health care of any nation in the world. And it isn't like we receive the very best health care that anywhere in the world. I mean, our infant mortality rate, I think, is 17th in the world. So we're clearly not at the top when it comes to the delivery system. Now, is there fraud, waste, and abuse? Absolutely. I mean, just clearly judging from the fact that, we pay that much, the most in the world, shows that there is a great deal of fraud and abuse in the system. But let's not forget that, we have some profit, insurance companies that have executives making $20 million or more a year. Clearly, that is, I think, cashing in to a huge extent on the needs and necessities of people. Now, granted, we're a capitalist society, and we want to stay that way, and we want to keep this system that we use fair and market-based. And that's what when we talk about a public option or an exchange, that's what it does. I constantly hear from my friends in the private sector that the private sector can do it better than the public sector. Well, what we're saying is, look, we want to put out there a possible public option. And if the private sector can do it as well as the public sector, then they should get out there and do that. They should get out there and do that and should beat the public cost. That should bring the cost down. That should require the executive to take less pay if they want to be competitive. That should require, the private sector to cut their costs. That's what we're looking to do here. We certainly do not, and I want to repeat, do not want to fix what is not broken. But there is an awful lot in the American healthcare system that is broken. Things like the donut hole. We need to fix that. Things like incentivizing wellness. So what I mean by that is, look, I like to stay in good shape. I don't smoke. I should get the benefits of those. Women should be able to get a mammogram and have that paid for because that is preventative medicine. And not only is that smart from a healthcare sense, but it's also a money-saving aspect as well. So I think that there are a lot of things that we could do by incentivizing wellness in the future, by doing things like promoting home health care because it saves a lot of money. I think these are all great things for us to do, and I think that if we do this bill and we do it the right way, and we're certainly working on that, I think that all Americans will have health care insurance, and we can do it in a way that saves money.
Well, thank you, Congressman. We hope that the 5,800 people on the call today, thank you for joining us, and found this to be informative and educational. If you would like to receive more information from Congressman Arcuri, please press 1 now. If no, press 2. Congressman, would you like to give us some closing remarks before we end our call for today?
Yes, and again, I just want to thank all of you, the 5,800 that have called in. Thank you so much for this, and I hope we can hear from you, about your thoughts, about your concerns. Again, this is an open debate. Look, what we want to do here is we want to make things better. There's nothing else in it, I think, for us here in Congress. This is going to be a tough couple of weeks until we work the details of this bill out. But to get the best possible bill, we certainly need to hear from you. I need to hear from you, my constituents. We need to dispel, though, the misinformation, and there's a lot of misinformation out there. You need to ask questions. Don't just, when you hear something on television, assume that it's gospel. A lot of the things that you're going to hear about are just that, are misinformation. We're up against some really powerful and well-organized opposition here that don't want health care to change at all because, obviously, they're making a great deal of money out of it. There's nothing wrong with that, but the fact of the matter is we need to ensure that all Americans have quality, affordable health care and that you don't have to worry about giving up something that you need, like putting food on your table or paying your rent or paying your gas and electric because you have to pay health bills. That's unacceptable in America, the richest country in the world. So what we're trying to do is ensure that all Americans have stable health care in the future. So AARP, I want to thank all of you for helping us put this together this morning. And again, I welcome your calls and your comments in the future. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Congressman. We hope that you enjoyed the call as much as we did, and we'd like to thank all the folks on the line listening and that listened in today. If you would be interested in joining AARP's effort on health care reform, either through visiting your legislator, making phone calls, signing letters to the editor, please press 1 on your telephone keypad now. Or visit our website at www.healthactionnow.org. We hope you'll use this website to share your stories, to contact your members of Congress, and to get the latest updates on what's going on in the healthcare debate. If you have a personal story that you would like to share with us about the impact of the high cost of healthcare has on your family, please stay on the line to leave us a message. Please be sure to leave your contact information so we can get back to you. Thank you again for participating in the call, and a special thanks to Congressman Arcuri for taking the time to share his thoughts on healthcare reform.